I'm Eric.
And I'm Darrell. Today on Eric and Darrell, we are taking care of business. What are you doing? Trying to learn how to breathe underwater? What's with all the water? What's going on?
It's my new thing.
Thing? What do you mean thing?
Drinking water.
Everybody drinks water, Eric. Everyone's been drinking water for thousands of years.
And I've been doing it for the past 16 days.
Really?
Straight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, impressive.
Yeah, so I've never been like a water person. If you remember decades ago, I would always walk around with like a 2-liter of Diet Mountain Dew or something. I've always been like a soda person.
You had your Tab phase?
Yeah, Tab.
You're my Tab, you're one of a kind. You're a 1-calorie friend of mine.
It's all about like the artificial sweetener, I guess. In recent years, I guess, or recent decades, I kind of was trying to stop doing so much soda, but I was still doing like the NutraSweet. So it would be like Diet Gatorade and Diet Sweet Tea.
Yeah.
And I just decided to I don't know, like 16 days ago, I woke up and was like, I'm done with all that. I'm just going to drink water from now on.
Well, that's good. That's healthy.
Until I die. My water journey has begun.
Yay! Yeah.
Yay.
I try to drink water too. Of course, I've heard doctors tell you, oh, you should drink, 8 glasses of water a day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's a harder habit to get into than you would think. But congratulations, You're doing very well.
Thanks. Yeah, it's easier to do when people don't tell you to do it, right? When people told me to drink water, I was like, screw you. But, when it's my idea, it's like, hey, I'll stick to it, right?
It's that punk rock mentality,
Right.
Don't tell me what to do, you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm good with it. I like it.
Oh, cool. Man, I had a hell of a day at work. It was so weird. It had no business being the day that it was. I'm doing this live stream for this company in the UK.
Oh, okay.
And so you don't realize how wearing it would be to sit and you're working and you have a computer and you're on a Zoom with someone who's in the UK and they're in their office and you're not really, it's not like a normal Zoom meeting where everyone's like trying to communicate. We're supposed to be working side by side. So there's a whole lot of, they're looking off screen, typing, and you're doing that, but you're just aware of this presence, and it's just awkward as terrible, man.
Weird.
It's like, I just wish I didn't have to do things like that anymore. It'd be awesome if this could be our job, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we could just do like what we've always wanted to do as kids, instead of being directed all the time, we want to be the directors, right?
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I don't know. Let's talk about like what we've done, like I guess what we do now. Like, haven't we had some like comments? We've had a lot of comments lately.
We have,
right?
yeah. Somebody wrote recently, like, what do y'all do for a living? That's come up quite a bit.
Yeah, and we always reply to it, but it's always kind of short. It's like we do video, like that's what we do. Like we still do it. Let's dive into like what it is we actually. Let's start at the beginning. What was your first job like ever? Like in high. Wait.
Yeah.
Did you had a job in high school?
In high school, yeah. My very, very first job, I think I was 17, and I was a dishwasher at a church.
So that was the job. That was your first job.
That was my first job, yeah.
Because that was my first job. So the job that you got me
there.
Yeah, the job so we worked at that church as dishwashers. And
did we ever work together? I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So we worked like in the kitchen, like cleaning dishes.
Right.
Like, I even remember like you would stack a bunch of dishes into this little slot thing.
Yeah.
And then you would close it down with like this big like chrome cube shield.
Yeah.
And then you would like pull this crank or something and it would like blast it with water and it would do its thing and it would take a few minutes and then it's done and you would open up the shield and you would have to, throw all the dishes everywhere, right? Like put them away or whatever. Like, so basically this church was set up to feed people at the church. I guess like you could go there for free meals.
They had like a Wednesday night dinner for the congregation.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. And it wasn't a buffet. It was like a cafeteria.
It was
It would go down.
It was like, a cafeteria.
Yeah. They would go down a line and you'd stand behind and you would be like, you want this, you want that. But we weren't the servers.
No.
But like we just cleaned all the freaking nasty dishes. It would have really been a sucky job. But you worked there. We always made it fun, and it was always crazy and fun. And our boss was a crazy dude too.
I just had a flashback. I didn't even remember this of actually. You had to go into the big. It was like big chapel room where they had all the tables set up, and they would leave all their dishes in these plastic bins, and you'd have a cart, and you go and you'd collect all the bins in the cart, and you take the cart back to the dishwasher area, drop it off, and go back, and you'd have to collect all the bins in the big room. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. But the guy the chef guy, the guy who ran it, he was like this like totally cool rock and roll dude from Florida or something. I remember.
Yeah, he was a cool guy. He was like, yeah, dude. He was like, he was just totally a dude. And he had this mustache. No facial hair, just a mustache going on. He's like, yeah, dude. He'd go out there and smoke cigarettes, chain smoke cigarettes. Yeah. And we'd go out there and hang out with them. And he was just a really cool guy. Like, I don't think he ever really got mad. I don't think we ever did anything crazy.
He was so nice.
He was super chill. I remember in the parking lot in the back, I would do donuts in my MR2, in my Toyota MR2, just leaving tracks. Like there'd be black circles all in that parking lot. Yeah. But I remember that very vividly. That was one of the perks. At some point, I guess it ended, and it was like maybe our boss left, or maybe
I left because I was graduating from high school.
I'm sure I left at the same time,
and I was gonna go off to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I probably was like, I'm done too. Like, what? I don't want to. Like, this isn't what I want to be when I grow up. Like, So yeah, that was our first job.
That was our first job.
Shortly after that, I think my second job was at McDonald's, and it didn't last very long, actually.
I don't remember you working at McDonald's.
It was very short. So my girlfriend at the time worked at McDonald's for a while, and she was really good at it. She'd worked herself
and
up
her
in
brother.
The ranks. Yeah, and her brother did too, which was one of my best friends. They wanted to put me on the front line, like standing in front of the counter.
They wanted to put you on the front lines.
Yeah, so
infantry.
I don't think I was very fast, and I wasn't great with customers. And then they kind of like moved me over to the fries, and the fries were really boring. So while I was at the fries, they kept bugging me. Like I'd have like people come upstairs from the depths of below, like the basement or like the offices were like underneath, like underground. And it was always weird. I was like, whoa, what's underground? Like there's something underneath McDonald's? Weird.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all the offices were under there, and they would come up and they'd always ask me questions because they always overheard me talking about computers and making videos and doing this and that. So they found out that I knew a lot about computers, and they'd ask me questions on how to like fix a spreadsheet, or how to uncorrupt a database, or where to even find a file or something on their computer. And this is probably like 1992 or something. So like,
wait,
maybe 93.
When did you work there?
Oh no, this was after high school. So this is probably 94, 95. Yeah. This is early on though still. So Windows 95, I think had just come out. Anyway.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
So every day I went to McDonald's, it was fix things on my computer. Most times it would be a full work day to fix things or to look for things or to do things. And it was weird. And then maybe at the very end of the day, it'd be like, oh yeah, clean up. And I'd have to go out and like, sweep or mop and then go home. Boring. So eventually I just kind of quit and was like, well, I think I might have lied and be like, yeah, I got this job offer over here, but had to get out of there. What was your second job? So you had already gone to high school, college, right?
So yeah, I went to college, and yeah, my folks were very like, do good in school. We'll give you money to get by. You focus on your schoolwork. I found college more stimulating than high school. So I did much better in college than high school. I transferred to Georgia State here in Atlanta in 97, very, very beginning of 97. Georgia State had a college radio station, WRES 88.5 FM. And I was like, that sounds cool. I want to work at this radio station. They hired me based on my love of Bauhaus. Yeah, one of the program directors was a big goth, and he saw on my application that I liked Bauhaus and Peter Murphy, and so they're like, hire this guy. Just being a basic DJ wasn't like a paid position, but they did have some paid positions. It wasn't a lot, but and eventually I became the production manager. So I did all the recordings. So most of it was all of the local bands or kind of smaller touring bands that would come through Atlanta. They'd come in on Saturdays for the Georgia Music Show, and we'd do a live set with them. And so I'd go and I'd mic all the instruments and set up the board. And so that was a lot of fun. My greatest achievement there was recording Willie Nelson.
Well, hello there. It's been a long, long time.
Nice.
Yeah, and the funniest thing was, I was setting everything up. I was micing his guitar because he's had the same guitar like his entire career. This old beat up. It's got a big, huge hole in it. And I'm micing his guitar and everything, and I'm like, is there anything you like need me to do special, Mr. Nelson? And he was like, well, if we just sound bad, just turn us down.
Nice. Wise words.
Yeah.
I think after that, I had this is a very short job too. I had a job at an HP factory, it was a factory that packaged HP computers.
Again,
like powers.
Another job of yours I never knew that you had.
So it was like, make sure the tower is in the, styrofoam. Put the styrofoam here and put in the little accessories, the manual, the warranty card and everything, and then put the box on it. But we were doing this over and over and over on a line. Yeah. And I was terrible at it because the line would get shoved up. Like, I'm not done with this computer and another one is here and a third one is here. And I'm like still working on this one. And they'd be like, halt it, right? The manager or whatever, like pull a switch or something. Ooga. And then everything come to a stop, steam come out and everybody's like, what happened? What happened?
Fullerton happened again.
Yeah. But the real clincher, the real thing that made me want to get out of there real quick was the fact that there was these huge, gigantic fans because it was hot in there. They didn't want like some sweaty factory. So they had these huge wind generators, gigantic.
Yeah.
And they would blow straight on to the workers. And you would think, oh, that'd be great. And it was great. It was nice wind and, you know, it was nice. But after one day of working, my lips were so chapped. My skin was so dry. I felt like my lips were just going to like fall off. Like, nope, there goes my lips.
Damn. That reminds me of the time, this is much, much, much later. I was working a freelance gig filming something, and we went to a General Mills plant. That was the loudest place I've ever been in. And it was boiling hot.
Oh, God.
Boiling hot. I can't understand how human beings work in that every day.
Oh, God.
It's terrible. To make breakfast cereal.
In 1995, same year, I started the Virtual Times.
The Virtual Times.
And this was a creation of my dad and his best friend at the time, John Dodd. They called it an e-zine because there were no terms back then for this sort of thing.
This was like, what, a year after the internet debuted?
Yeah. The internet had kind of been around really since the 80s.
Well,
it was only really accessible.
The internet was invented in the 70s, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. No, like the public internet that everyone else got on was like 94.
Right. So you could say the first graphical browser came out then, because before then, browsers were Linux based and there were no graphics. So to me, the internet started when graphical browsers were a thing. The idea behind the Virtual Times was to have a newspaper that was virtual, right? So it would have news articles, it would have movie reviews, it would have entertainment articles, it would have, everything that the newspaper had, but digital form. The most innovative thing about it was that to monetize it, they had to sell ads. So John Dodd would go door to door in Huntsville, Alabama, literally like a salesman, like a vacuum salesman, but he would be selling ads to put, like banner ads and stuff to put on the internet, put on our website. It'd be like, what's the internet? Is that good? What does it do? And we'd try to explain it, and well, I don't know.
John Dodd, pretty charming guy. I'm sure he was out there selling ads left and right.
Oh, he's excellent at that. He always called himself a good horse trader. He could trade anything. He's a good people person,
He is, yeah.
It's what Google is based on today. It's what Facebook, it's what drives the internet, right?
It really was ahead of its time.
And nobody at the time really knew how to create a website. So we had that. We figured it out, reverse engineer other people's websites, figure it out, write the code, and, got it done. So, in fact, I have a clip on our channel. Here it is. It's so CNN ran a story on the Virtual Times.
And why would your local coffee shop advertise on the internet of all places? You might be surprised by the answer. All that and more today on Future Watch. Ads on the internet are nothing new. Some companies have been hawking their wares on the worldwide computer hookup for years, but usually internet advertisers are trying to sell their products and services to stay-at-home shoppers who could be located anywhere in the world. David George reports from Huntsville, Alabama on internet advertising with a twist. Local merchants looking for local customers in cyberspace.
People come to 5 Points Espresso for the coffee. Along with the cafe au laits and tall double mochas, 5 Points offers customers something extra. A chance to log onto the internet from the coffee house computer.
People come in here and spend a little time. They might drink some more coffee.
A few months ago, 5 Points Espresso became one of the first advertisers on a website called the Virtual Times Huntsville Edition, a localized newsletter tailored to the Huntsville market. There's Alabama weather, local sports and culture, movie reviews, classified ads, articles aimed at Huntsville's large community of scientists and engineers. Entrepreneurs Larry Fullerton and John Dodd say they're not out to compete with the local newspaper.
We're not trying to bring in new news every day and cover local events in the sense of new news every day. The newspaper does that quite well, and we don't try to do that.
What the Virtual Times Huntsville edition does do is give local businesses like Shaver's Bookstore and Glenn's Flower Shop across the street a chance to reach a specialized audience.
We have a high-tech clientele, and probably, I would say, 75 or 80% of the people that use us have computers, home computers, and are connected to the internet.
Huntsville is a high-tech town, home to NASA's Space and Rocket Center and a host of related businesses. An estimated 40,000 of the area's 250,000 residents use the internet at work or at home. In Huntsville, even car dealers advertise on the internet.
It's going to reach the buyer that we're looking for, which is a person that, owns his own computer, does a lot of homework themselves before they come into a dealership, and I think doesn't want a lot of the rah-rah, just wants the basic essentials on how to buy a car.
So what do we have here in Huntsville? A case of advertiser overkill? An entrepreneurial fling by a couple of guys simply out to make a buck? Or, as John Dodd suggests, has Huntsville taken a step along the road toward an information revolution? John Dodd predicts one day there will be hundreds of thousands of advertiser-supported websites like the Virtual Times Huntsville edition.
We thought of it first, we think. Somebody else will come in and probably say no, that they thought of it. But we got online with it, and we're doing quite well with it, and we're expanding. And we hope to be one of the front runners when it gets broad. But I think it will be a lot of these kinds of things out there, yeah.
In Huntsville, Alabama, David George, CNN, Future Watch.
So I graduated from college in 1999, and I moved back to Huntsville from Atlanta and wound up getting a job. Where?
Oh, at Time Domain.
At Time Domain. And what is so special about Time Domain?
So Time Domain was a company that my dad started in the 80s. He was an inventor, and he had invented a new way to transmit data through the air. There's a whole technology behind it. He has all the patents. He has over 300 patents, and it was just, it was a new, in fact, I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, a new thing came out, the stealth bomber. Remember the stealth bomber? That using his radar technology, using UWB, it would actually detect that aircraft. But the Army had just released, at least just declassified this aircraft as radar. Radar can't penetrate it. It's totally invisible and no one can see it. And my dad's like, I just invented something that could totally see your little, your little plane up there, And it was like, really? Some dude in Huntsville? In fact, I have another clip that I don't think I've ever put anywhere. It's another news clip of my dad explaining it, and the news people going, "What's going on? Like, how is this guy in Huntsville making this new high-tech plane obsolete? It's crazy." Roll the clip.
Yesterday when it got off the ground.
But it's facing a more difficult test in Congress. Lawmakers applaud the successful maiden flight, but the price tag is turning them sour. The cost, an estimated $500 million, raises questions in Washington. The future of the stealth is being questioned here at home as well.
A local engineer claims to have developed a radar system which could make the $500 million plane obsolete. Ron Keller is now with us in our newsroom to tell us more. Ron?
Don and Heather, the system is called impulse radar. It is ultra-sensitive, very hard to detect, and virtually unjammable. And one Huntsville man says he has the exclusive patent on the technology. His name is Larry Fullerton, and he owns his own company, Time Domain Systems. And in his private lab 10 years ago, he developed what he calls impulse radar. On this screen is a sample of a test of the impulse system. Short pulses of radiation have been shot at a 6-inch steel tower. Matched with the right software, impulse radar can showcase precise details of almost any object it scans.
An object that's, say, 50 feet long, as a fighter plane would be, the particular reflectors along the length would show up. The wings, the tail, the armaments, the cockpit, the pilot in the cockpit.
Not only can it give a detailed description of objects under 50 feet, Fullerton says impulse radar also can penetrate the ceramic skin of the B-2 bomber and read certain shapes in its design, some of the very elements that make the stealth bomber elusive to present-day radar tracking systems.
It only makes the stealth bomber obsolete if the other side gets impulse radar.
Susan Fullerton watched with her husband as the stealth bomber took its maiden flight yesterday.
I think at first he definitely felt like a renegade, and there were many disbelievers. But when he took on his first trip to Washington, when he took one of his units and sort of passed all their tests, there aren't any skeptics left in Washington.
In fact, the Army's Missile Command in Huntsville has contracted with Time Domain Systems to do more extensive tests on impulse radar. Heather, Don.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ron.
Thank you.
Anyway, totally fascinating stuff. Really smart guy. You wouldn't believe what it was like living with him. He just had all these insane ideas that were just like paradigm shifts, if you will. But yeah, so me and you worked at Time Domain.
At Time Domain.
But not doing all this complicated stuff because it was very complicated engineering that went over my head. I loved hearing about it. Yeah, but it was just a totally different, field. But we were lucky enough to be their video production unit. Their whole
what they called the media lab.
The media lab, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got to do their commercials, do like their media, graphics, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was totally awesome. We got to work again. That was the second time we got to work together.
That's right. Yeah, it was really cool. And we worked in like 2 different buildings. I don't really remember how many buildings they had before that, but they were building a new building while we were in another building. And then we moved over to the new building, and it was totally swanky, had a huge like break area that was the size of a cafeteria. Just free food and free drinks, I
remember that.
And just like, wow, you want a drink? Yeah, get it. You want some food? Yeah, just eat it.
Like, it was a really good time. I loved it. And the pay was really good too.
It was really good.
Like we stepped up to that, like, ooh, we can afford to like live on our own.
So after Time Domain in 2001, I got my first internet job working for Highway Internet Services in Huntsville, Alabama.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it was like a ISP, like an internet service provider.
And I was hired as a web designer. Our friend Shakira worked there at the time.
Oh, I forgot. Who is John Dodd's
daughter.
And John Dodd is the one who co-founded Virtual Times with my dad. So
yeah. I rarely saw her because she was in a complete different part of the building from me. But yeah, I had my little cubicle and I got assignments to make websites for people's companies. And one great thing came out of that job. They knew I knew video production and they wanted to produce a commercial for themselves. I got to make their commercial for them. And it was a completely 3D animated commercial. It was just such a fun project. I still have it. So let's take a look.
How do you know which internet solutions to choose for your business? With so many options, how do you put the right pieces together? Start with a solid foundation. DSL, T1 access, hosting, managed servers, web design, online marketing, anything internet. Highway Internet Services can build a custom solution that fits your business from the ground up. Let Highway build your solution, piece by piece. Highway Internet Services. Real people, real internet, real fast.
So yeah, that was a fun commercial to do, and honestly,
I remember that.
It ruined me at Highway, because after that I was like, I don't want to make websites.
Right. Yeah.
I want to do video production.
Yeah.
And my performance at making websites went way down. And not long after, they fired me. I took it as a sign. Yeah, I don't need to be making websites. I'm going to go freelance and do video production.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know how to get jobs. Eventually, I had to go take a job at a hair salon.
Wait, what?
I got a job at this place called The Masters, and it was a hair salon for like little old ladies. But I was the guy, I was on the phone. I had to dress up. I had to wear like dress slacks and a button-up shirt, and it had to be tucked in and
fancy.
I couldn't sit down. I had to stand all day at that reception desk. I was the receptionist. I'd answer the phones. And I tell you, I was popular with the little old ladies. They really liked me. Especially this one Asian lady. She'd come in and be like, "You're so tall."
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was a low point.
My first programming job, so if you rewind to 97, I was really big, like after the virtual times, I was really big into like hacking and just being on the computer, teaching myself how to write software. After playing Sierra games as kids and King's Quest and Space Quest and all those kind of games, I always wanted to write software and like write games. After Windows 95 came out, that was like my biggest like hacking days. And I would always hack into different companies' databases and just kind of poke around. I never did anything bad or did anything illegal. I mean, maybe it's illegal to, look at their data, but back in those days, nobody really even knew what that meant. Like, so I'd always kind of go poking around in people's computers and stuff. That kind of led me to a job. So I went to a bar, which in Huntsville, Alabama, it was called the Coffee Clutch. I went to I frequented
a popular hangout for us.
Right. I frequented that bar, and I was just hanging out at the bar one day, just sipping on a beer or something. And a guy next to me, I forget how we started talking, but he was probably in his like 30s or 40s, maybe. We got to talking about like hacking and computers and programming. And back in those days, if you had an email, I wanted to talk to you. Because I'm like, if you even know what email is, that's awesome. Let's talk. He offered me a job. And I was like, what? Like programming, like a software engineer. Like I was just a hacker, just teaching myself stuff. It was, I want to give you a job. You seem very passionate and you seem very smart in what you're saying. And if you've done what you've said you're doing, then let's get you here and doing that. So I was like, oh my God, oh God. And that started my whole like software career, which lasted over a decade after that. And that was my first programming gig. It was for Palladius Systems.
Oh yeah, Palladius Systems. I remember that.
Yep. And it was fascinating. We ended up doing artificial intelligence programming, machine learning, way back in 1997, doing enterprise client server based security software. I didn't really know much, and then after that job, I was like, boom, my head was throbbing. I was like, I'm ready for anything now. Dang, like it was crazy. Anyway, but speaking of websites, so at the time I started my own company called Extreme Webware. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
I started my own company starring me. I had never hired anybody else. It was just me. So I was offering freeware and shareware apps for Windows 95. I scaled them up so big to where I was writing enterprise apps and selling licenses to different companies. And I was making a pretty good living just writing my own software and being the support team, email support and updates and everything, just doing it all myself and releasing software. And I had 6 different products by the time I shut down because it got to be way overwhelming. And I was just constantly getting these royalties coming in because people would buy the software. And while that was going on, we were still trying to find a college that could teach how to even build a website. Nobody knew how to do it. Nobody. So at the time, I was hired. I was a freelancer for the University of Alabama. They hired me to do their website. Not only that, but this whole back-end database. It was a huge project that they wanted me to do. Just one guy in Huntsville, Alabama that was 19 years old. Because when I asked them, they said, well, we don't teach that. I was like, well, what about you don't have any professors that teach that? No, the professors don't know it. Nobody knew it. Nobody taught it. So instead of going to college and getting taught it, they hired me to do it. So it was weird. It was what the crap is happening? And that's why I didn't go to college. I never went to college because nobody taught what I wanted to learn. So it was really cool, not that I'm some smart guy because I was just bumbling through it, but I eventually learned it between Web 1.0 and 2.0, I would say. So that was a really cool, interesting time in my life. And my dad was very proud because he was an engineer. He figured this stuff out. And it was just father and son just going tackling cutting edge technology of the planet. It was freaking awesome. So I loved it. Very exciting.
Meanwhile, I had finally gone freelance. And I finally got, I think my first big gig was to go to Los Angeles, or just outside of Los Angeles, with our buddy Bill Schweikert.
Yes.
Who worked for this company that had a contract with the U.S. Navy. So we went out to California. It was my first time going to California, and got to go to Hollywood and see all the places. And then we went up to this place, Port Hueneme, and we filmed some stuff there and came home, and it was awesome. It was wow, I get paid to go somewhere cool and then do something fun, and and then they give me money. I want to do this forever. This is what I want to do. I came back, and then some people came into town, a movie production company, and I somehow met one of the producers, and she hired me to be their production office coordinator. So I was there from day one. The film is called Constellation. It is a terrible film, but it has an amazing cast. Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian himself.
Nice.
And a very young, practically unknown Zoe Saldana. I mean, that was a great experience. Just working on a feature film that I was shooting every day. I was in the office. Great time.
Yeah, I think I remember that, thinking, man, I want to do that.
And then, it was during Constellation that I conceived of the idea for Airband. And then as soon as Constellation was over, got to work on Airband and made that happen. You were there for that.
Yeah, so Airband is the movie that's based on Larry and Darrell going to the record store.
Yeah.
Kind of. Being in the Airband, competition. And,
But I mean, it was that video. I guess I had gone through some old tapes and I came across that video and was like, oh, this is a story here. After Airband, another feature film came to a close by town in Alabama, Florence. When I Find the Ocean. My parents were living in Florence at the time, so I just stayed with them and worked on that. That starred none other than the $6 million man himself.
Action!
Mama Edna, good night. See you tomorrow.
Now you drive careful, you hear?
Oh, I will. Mr. Strickland, good night. Good night. Sleep well.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. He was a funny guy because he's like a serious actor. Very, very serious. Takes his roles very seriously. And then I decided to move to Atlanta. I was like, all right, Atlanta's probably got more options for film industry. So I'm moving to Atlanta. And as soon as I got to Atlanta, I was like, oh, wait. There's this cooking show that I love called Good Eats, and I know it's shot in Atlanta. And I used to watch it all the time in college. And so I was like, I am determined to work on Good Eats.
I remember that, yeah.
And I somehow came across one of the producers' emails, and I just blind emailed and said, I've been watching the show for years. I love it. I would love to work on the show. So they hired me as a grip. I worked as a grip on Good Eats for 4 episodes.
That's cool.
And I even have some behind the scenes footage that I shot on my phone.
Nice.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, they have that. Thank you.
Hopefully he couldn't hear that.
Huh?
Hopefully he couldn't hear that.
Yeah.
Hey, B. This is fantastic. You are really a genius. But now we need to come up with a bit more brilliant.
Oh, yeah, you give me a little bit of a ramp here. I'll bet you I can launch this thing up there. You can't. I bet you I can.
$5.
Bet me $5?
Yeah, $5.
Okay. I can cheat and put something underneath you to hold this as a wedge. Maybe.
One, action.
Wow, that's great. So in 2002, after I had done, lots of different like software development jobs, I worked for probably 3 or 4 different full-time software dev type things. And I was just rocking it, learning different languages and different protocols, working with a lot of people. It was really cool. It was really fascinating, really fun. I think around that time, I was really kind of like longing for like video production again, because I'd kind of stepped away from video production for 10 years. I think I needed change, So to cleanse my palate, I went to the mall and I got a job at EB Games, Electronic Boutique. This company went on to be GameStop, but back in the day, it was called EB Games. So this was in the mall. And so I remember going to the guy, I just walked in and I was like, hey, I want a job. It says now we're hiring. I thought, this is a total palate cleanser. I'm not going there as a pretentious, software developer, or I don't have any motives. I just want I want to walk around and sell games and look around at game boxes, and I just want to rest. The manager of EB Games said, okay, let's go for an interview. He took me out to the food court, and we go there and we just eat a meal, and he's just asking me questions and talking. It was pretty chill. And by the end of it, he was like, I have to say, I don't know if I can give you this job. And I'm like, why? I love video games, and I think I'm pretty good with people. And he said, well, you're vastly overqualified. So it says here, and he's looking at my resume, making this much money doing this and, software. Oh, you did this and you worked here. He's like, well, this makes no sense. So why do you even want to work here? And it's like, I just need a break. Like, I want to do something completely different. I think he offered me something like, I want to say something like $90 a week, maybe. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like, even now standards, it was like,
God.
But I'm like, I don't care. I'm not doing it for the money. I don't care about money right now. All I care about is just let my brain cool off. I want to chill. And is there a way I could just let's come up with an agreement. Like, it was the winter time. And he was like, okay, let's do this. We need extra help for the winter. For the Christmas season, it's going to get crazy. And you're not ready for crazy yet because you haven't worked retail during Christmas. And it's going to get wild. You're going to have to clean with a vacuum. Like, you're going to do some physical stuff. You're going to stock, boxes in the back, and you're going to walk around and you're going to help customers. You're going to answer questions. You're going to, hit some buttons on the cash register. And I'm like, sign me up, man. That's why I'm here. I want to do some crazy stuff I've never done before. Adventure time right here. I don't care if I'm paid a penny a week. I don't give a crap. Just give me the job. And he gave me the job. And it was great. I showed up every day. I did everything he told me to do, and I loved it. The best thing was just like talking to people about games and overhearing people talking about games. I'm like, hold on a second. You're probably going to be interested in The Sims. The Sims just came out this week, and it was so fun. So that was a total palate cleanser in between jobs. And after that, I just completely said goodbye to software development and websites and just went video production. That was like purgatory. And then after that, I went, bam, video production. And here I am today. I'm still doing video production. That was the fork in the road.
Right. Yeah.
Which was great. I still have some limited edition Metroid stickers. I still have some EB game shirts and swag. Yeah, it was good times.
I had moved to Atlanta and I was trying to get the ball rolling doing freelance. New town, it's always difficult to get going, right? But yeah. I did find a position as an editor for a small production company. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I could go do that, go to an office and be like their editor and stuff. Mm-hmm. Little did I know how small this company really was.
How small was it?
It was one lady in the basement of her home.
Really?
I was like her editor for like 2 years. I worked there. It was just me and her, and she had these contracts with the FAA, like some big government contracts. So it was kind of cool. I went up to like New York like several times to shoot B-roll, and I wasn't the shooter, but her ex-husband was. So it would be me and him and our on-camera talent, this lady who did the job over and over again. And we'd fly up to New York and go to all these different airports. It was kind of a cool job because like I've been in the Tower of Newark. I've been down on the, on the tarmac at JFK and stuff like that. And so it offered like some interesting things that most people don't get to do, that I never thought I would do. I've been inside a nuclear reactor for one job. I never thought I'd go to a nuclear reactor, but okay, I have. It was cool.
Right. It just takes you there. That's cool.
Yeah. Probably the funniest thing that happened, we shot a promo with Jeff Foxworthy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the
comedian.
The
You might be a redneck if.
Yeah, that guy.
So he's from Atlanta, and we went up, and he and his brother live like right next to each other. Their houses are right next to each other. So we shot it at his brother's house. We're setting up and everything. We're getting ready. I was doing sound. So we had a boom mic set up on a stand. I wasn't holding it, but I was, monitoring the thing, and we were waiting. I was waiting for us to get going. Camera had started rolling, And I'm just like kind of waiting there, and I have music just playing in my head, you know, I'm just like kind of, and Jeff notices me and he says something. And actually I have this clip, so let's just watch it.
You're listening to something we're not listening to.
Okay.
He's over there on flight.
Darrell, are we good on sound? Mm-hmm. He'd be yelling at me if we weren't.
He would.
Yeah. Okay. So are we rolling?
We are rolling anytime you help.
And action.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Earlier, like 2004, about the time we were transitioning, or I was transitioning, you know, to do video production. On my lunch break, sometimes we would meet to go to eat or to go do something, because, you know, we didn't work together at the time. But I have some old clip from 2004 where I guess you were in town, and I was on a lunch break, and we just decided to go to Terry's Pizza.
Yeah, we did that a lot. Yeah,
hanging out in the parking lot. I always have a camera in my hand. So anyway, here's a random clip.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a little Darrell talking on the phone movie.
Yes. Hi. I am currently standing here in the parking lot of Terry's Pizza, and I'm on the phone with Katie. Right here.
And there's some guy over there like, what are you guys doing?
It's like a little documentary TV show or something where we investigate people standing in parking lots talking on phones in front of pizza joints. Yeah.
And then I guess we went back to work, and so in 2006, I started another company called Dead Workers Party, and it was 4 of us. And then we added Bill Schweikert, who we had worked with before as a DP, and he was our 5th member. And then we traveled around and did feature films. We did a lot of podcasting. We started podcasting in 2006, and we podcasted for a decade, and then did YouTube for a decade. Tons of stuff. Went to lots of conventions, spoke on panels, and lived the dream, basically. Video production, right? And we had our own soundstage. We had a green screen cyclorama. We had all the equipment. We did everything. Like, I was just like fulfilled beyond fulfillment. I was like, if I die now, I will have no regrets. You know, like, I've done everything I want to do, and
no regrets.
You're right. I was like, this is the pinnacle of life right here, and it was great. It's like, when I go to work, I go to my studio, and I have the team of workers that are my best friends, and we go to work. What are we working on today? And it's something creative and fun. It's never something boring. It's our company, you know. A couple of features that I worked on in the 2010s. One of them was chainsaw cheerleaders. This was like boobs and gore. I mean, that's in the name, right? Chainsaw cheerleaders.
Is that little pretty?
That bitch is a whack job. You'd protect us, wouldn't you?
So you gonna help me kill the bitch?
Hell yeah.
Bill Schweikert, he got me the gig. He was the DP, and he got me on as the boom operator. Smooth operator. Just ridiculous. It was a really, really fun set to be on. ridiculously cheesy movie.
Wait a minute. Did you get hired as the boom operator? Boom operator.
Yes. And then another one that I was proud of was called Hunger. And this one was on Netflix. Maybe it's still on Netflix. I don't know. It's called Hunger. I was the second assistant camera. I was the guy with the clapboard and changing lenses and measuring, talent and stuff. And it was super interesting. That was my film school. I feel like I learned so much on that set, and it was fascinating. The actors were super pro. One of the guys was Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Great. Hey, mister, you're in my chair.
I always kind of feel like every job you get in the production industry, all you have to do is really tell them, yeah, I can do it. Oh yeah, trust me. Show them some stuff you've done before and you got the job. And then it's up to you to figure it out and make it good, Oh, you remember the hot air balloon music video that you shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I edited that. You hired me.
Yeah.
To edit it. Remember that?
That's right.
Oh, that was a great video.
Let's go.
Yeah, that was fun. It was beautiful shots. That was really cool.
Yeah, I got hired to be the lead, essentially the DP of this guy's music video. He was kind of like a R&B style singer. And we went up to Asheville, North Carolina, got in these hot air balloons, and we're flying over, beautiful scenery of Asheville. And I had like a long lens. He was in another balloon. I was in a different balloon, getting these long lens shots. Yeah, that was a cool little thing. I mean,
that was fun.
That's a good example of the kind of stuff I've been doing over the last 10 years. I've done tons of corporate stuff. I got into making puppet films.
Weren't you also in the Vampire Diaries?
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. For a little while, I was doing extra work. So I did 2 episodes of the Vampire Diaries. I was in an episode of The Walking Dead, though I think I may have been cut. So.
Oh yeah, Walking Dead. That's right.
But I was there on set, so yeah, I did a couple of things like that. Oh, probably my biggest role as an extra was in the feature film Life as We Know It, and I'm in the trailer. And I bet we can find that and cut to it right now.
Well, they named you.
I'm sorry. They picked us together.
Believe me, I tried to advise them against it, but there are... Believe me, I tried to advise them against it, but there are...
You popped up all over the place. That's cool. So I guess at the end of everything, really, like right now, I have a part-time job in marketing for a company here in Huntsville, Alabama, doing video production, doing commercials, doing a lot of graphic design. So I'm freelancing and also doing some music composing and music mixing and mastering for various projects. I'm having fun. It's like, you know, going back to the beginning, it's like we both wish that we could just do this, you know, full time, but at the same time, I'm still doing stuff that I genuinely enjoy. I'm always being challenged with work, and it's interesting. It's what I want to do, right? So, you know, I'm not packing computers at a Hewlett-Packard factory. I'm not helping people with their stupid Windows 95 issues at McDonald's. You know, so I think it's really cool, and I have a great setup here. I'm in my studio. I get to sit and be creative all day. Like, it's you know,
very similar. Very similar.
Our life is all about. It's just
I just want to do more of this.
Just like the 80s, if nobody's watching us, we'll still be making videos.
That's right.
You know, because nobody watched us in the 80s.
It's fun for us. That's why we're in it. We're not in it for anything else other than we just love it and it's our passion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow your bliss.
I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be.
Well, it looks like our work here is done.
Literally our work. You know, I actually had forgotten to say that one time I had a job as a human cannonball, but they fired me.
Oh!
Well, it was because I gave up my job as a window cleaner.
Uh-huh.
It was becoming such a pain.
Oh!
But I really wanted to be a tailor.
Okay, here
but
we
I
go.
wasn't suited for it. Yeah, but honestly, my worst job was a deep sea diver.
Great.
I quit when the pressure got too much. Oh, I used to be a human statue.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm not in that position anymore.
I take it we're just killing time for the credits.
Yes. Lots of people. Look at those people.
Yeah. Like that guy. I love him.
That freaking guy.
Oh, hey.
Oh, you fired a guy last time.
Hey, girl.
Are you gonna hire him back up?
Yeah. No.
You're hired. You're fired.
That guy's out. That guy's out.
Hey, oh, he's out.
You're good. What are you doing? Get out of here! You're fired!
Oh, God!
Fired!
Oh, God, he's a tough.
I like what that guy was doing.
He's a tough boss, man. He's out. And guys, who else is out?